Hello friends, welcome to GSTZen e-invoice learning series. In today's webinar, we are going to understand how to generate an e-invoice to a sale made to the government department. Friends, there is always a question that is coming up when I make a supply to the government department: is e-invoice applicable and should I need to do an e-invoice? So in this video, we look at the legal provisions and we also understand how to generate an e-invoice when a supply is made to a government department. We are looking at when a supply is made to a government department and not by a government department. Let's first understand, does the registered person include a government entity? If you look at the provisions under the law, 2 subsection 94 of the Act talks about who is a registered person. And registered person means a person who is registered under section 25 and 24. And 25 but does not include UINs. And 25 refers to the person who is liable to be registered under section 22 and 24. And under section 24, clause 6 talks about the persons who are required to do a TDS under section 51, whether or not they are separately registered under this act, should be also registered for GST, which means there might be a regular registration to a government entity, or under section 51 they are liable to do TDS, there will be a TDS entity. So the government department is having a GSTN either as an entity supplying goods and services, so which means a regular registration like any of us, or as an entity deducting TDS. Now the same number has to be mentioned by the as a recipient by the supplier when he is doing the e-invoice. So one has to look at wherever the TDS registration is available, while issuing an invoice against the customer, TDS deduction number should be mentioned. So under the e-invoice, there is the seller details and the buyer details. In the buyer details, the GST number of the government TDS number has to be mentioned. If the government TDS registration is not available, but they have furnished a regular registration, then it is like any other normal issue of e-invoice. So like any other you are issuing to a registered person, you will be using that number. In either case, you will be doing an e-invoice when a supply made to the government. Very important. If the government is not liable to do the TDS and it is also not having a regular registration number, then the e-invoice is not applicable when you are making to a supply to a government. So it is not necessary for all government supplies e-invoice is applicable. E-invoice is applicable only when the government is making a supply as, or when the government is having a regular registration number or a TDS registration number, then the e-invoice is applicable. Hope you got a clarity on this topic. Thank you for watching this video.